Hello everyone, please excuse the massive light coming from my window. It makes it look like I'm currently residing in hell. Not really. Don't know why the camera makes it look that bright. Please excuse the seagulls. Window's open just a bit because it's like 40 degrees and the computer's on, so I'm literally in a furnace. More reason to believe I'm in hell. And if my voice gets a bit fucked, excuse me again, because this is my 4th time recording this, because I've had hard drive problems, but I'm fairly confident it'll work this time. So, this video is about Berserk. Oh boy. Berserk's getting a lot of attention at the moment, because it's getting a new anime. So, you know, people are obviously thinking, wow, this is pretty cool, time to, see what the series is about. I'm one of those people. I went and watched the movies. I've watched the first two, and I've got the third one to watch, and I really enjoyed it. They're really exciting. I think they look really nice. Not a lot of other people think that. But I did hear that they weren't the most faithful adaptations. I heard they had cut some stuff out. Okay, a few minor things cut out here and there, fair enough. But I was curious. So I went and started reading the manga to see how much was cut out. A lot of stuff. Like, a hell of a lot of stuff. The movies adapt one arc, the Golden Age arc. And they've got the bare bones plot adapted, but none of the extras. It's like, for example, you got Star Wars. We can say Star Wars is, Luke wanting to kill Vader, and like Luke does eventually kill Vader. That is like what happens, but there's so much stuff we're missing in between, and that's kind of what they're dealing with this anime. It's got all the main points of this movie. It's got all the main points, but none of the other stuff. So it's really not the best adaptation. As a standalone film, it's okay, but I see that Berserk fans could get quite annoyed at it. But I did enjoy it, and it was a good entry point. Well, I found it entertaining. So I'm excited to watch the third movie, which is going to adapt The Eclipse. Which might make me, a bit dead inside seeing that animated, because, well, when I read it in the manga, it was quite something. I'm not one who has any strong emotional response to movies or TV shows or anything, any kind of, thing like that. For example, Game of Thrones, a lot of people died in the finale. Most people are losing their shit, like, holy hell, everyone's dead, I can't believe it. And I'm just like, okay, they're dead. It's cool, I guess. I'm a very simple person. If it's something I like, a show I like, I keep watching it. If it's a show I don't like, I stop watching it. And I can't see any, I'm not one who can really form a lot of big reasons as to why I enjoy shows. I either do or I don't. I'm sure there are reasons why I enjoy the shows, but I can't put my finger on them. So for me, it's really black and white. I either enjoy something or I don't like it, really, for the most part. It's only surprising considering I do like reviews on this channel, but for the most part, the reviews I've done, bearing in mind I've taken quite a few of them down, I more or less analyse more than I review. I don't have that much to say on things, and that's the reason why, I guess. But when I was reading Berserk, that changed when I got to The Eclipse, because the Eclipse, it's made me, it was devastating. It really was. Seeing this band of people that I liked so much, going from nobodies, to like, admired by everyone, which is a thing in shows I really enjoy. I did a Gotham video on my main channel, discussing I really like, the underdog working his way up. That's kind of what happened with the Band of Hawks, and I loved them. I really did. There were characters that didn't got that much screen time. Pippin, for example. I think that's his name, the big black guy. I really liked him, and I really liked them all, to be honest. Which is upsetting, because they got absolutely massacred. It was unlike anything I've ever seen, Again, Game of Thrones, Red Wedding, a lot of Starks died. Some of them got out, but, at the very least, we've got that to, it's not like they all died. For The Eclipse, no one survived. There was Guts and Casca, but Casca barely survived. Guts wasn't really a member. They all died. I mean, it's really nothing. There's really no good things you can take out of that situation. And for manga, I'm the type of guy really who reads manga to see what happens next. And we all do that, but for One Piece, which is the first manga I'd read, I think, I watched the anime. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Read the manga to see what happens next, and I thought, cool, I can't wait to see the animated. And that's my thoughts for really any manga, to be honest. again, I'm not saying I don't enjoy manga. This is just I can't pinpoint like why. Like I can't really do this for anything, to be honest. But so again, I don't really have any strong emotional response for the most part. But when I was reading this, I was completely captivated. You know, I had my attention. I almost forgot it was a manga for a moment. Most of the time, I think of manga, it's always, yeah, wow, I really wish it was animated. But no, this had my full attention because just how insane it was. I heard people say Berserk was dark, but this was like on another level. This was a complete bloodbath. So when I see this animated tonight, I may shed a tear or two because it might be hard to watch, see everyone like completely torn apart in animated form. So that'll be quite something. So the movies weren't the best adaptation. They cut out a lot of stuff, but they were quite good. As standalone films, I think the Golden Age arc works quite well, and it does a way better job than this new anime does of you know, being a Berserk adaptation. I don't know why, but for these three films, the films, the old anime and the new anime, they all do really weird adaptations. The movies is the least like sinful. They adapted one arc and they rushed it, movie constraints, but it was okay. 90s anime, I've heard mixed things about, cut stuff out as well. Adapts the Golden Age arc again, I believe, and the Black Swordsman arc, which is the first one. The new anime, oh boy, right? Starts at volume 1, by the beginning of the episode. End of the episode, it's at volume 16. It cuts out the Golden Age arc, which is okay. It is. Berserk fans, we've seen that animated twice. You know, we don't need to see it again. People have been waiting so long for an adaptation. There's just a Berserk. They don't want to wait, like, they don't want 5 weeks of seeing this, you know, this arc adapted again. Especially when it, you know, it'll pull worse than the movie did. So that's understandable. But the Black Swordsman arc, which is the first arc, it was weird. The way it was adapted. It starts at volume 1, goes to volume like 6, back to 1 again. They changed stuff about to, like, I don't know, rush it. I mean, Berserk, Guts meets up with these like bandits or whatever, and then they get killed by this giant tree. That doesn't happen really, or it doesn't happen at all. It was completely changed just to rush the entire arc. It's not really an arc that needed rushed. It's not really been. Maybe it was animated in the 90s, but I don't know. The other thing is they skip out an entire arc. After the Golden Age arc, there's an arc called the Lost Children arc. I'm pretty sure it is part of the Conviction arc, which is like the main thing about the anime. It's adapting this new arc, which I'll get into later. But this, it skipped this arc. Most people consider the Lost Children arc its own standalone thing, and it's getting completely skipped, which I don't get. It's valid, I guess, to, you know, skip to the Golden Age arc, but the Lost Children arc's never been adapted to an anime, and they've just skipped it for no reason. Apart from, I guess, they want to rush and get to the Conviction arc as fast as possible, even though this is technically part of the Conviction arc. It's kind of standalone. It doesn't have any overall plot significance, but it's still, like, pretty damn good. And it looks like it'll never get animated, because, you know, I don't see another Berserk anime being done for a long time. Mostly because this one's not very good. It's rushing it, so I don't see a lot of people enjoying it. Newcomers won't manage to get into it that well because, well, they've skipped the Golden Age arc, which is probably the most important arc in the entire series. I mean, I'm not caught up, I'm only halfway through, but it's really important. You cannot watch this anime, you know, as a newcomer. It's really not possible. And you know, it's kind of upsetting because newcomers might come into this and they might not like it. And it's not like a Berserk's bad, the adaptation is just bad, and they're just going to go out thinking, wow, Berserk's really not good, I don't get the hype. That could have been me. So it really sucks that people are going to get the wrong idea about the entire series. So yeah, newcomers probably won't like it. Fans won't like it because it's skipping stuff. It's not that good an adaptation. And I mean, it's not going to sell. And then, I mean, it'll probably get dropped or something, no season 2. companies will be discouraged from doing a Berserk anime again because they'll think, oh, there's not interest for Berserk. There is an interest. It's not interest for like dog shit adaptations, and there might not be one for another like 6 years. I mean, from the 90s anime, right, to the movies, it was like a 15-year wait. I mean, that could happen again until a company's brave enough to try it. I mean, that's like the only thing you can say good about this adaptation. The company was brave enough to try it. But to be fair, I think the movies did pretty well, so that's not really good enough praise, to be honest. Something similar happened with JoJo, because JoJo got an OVA. It wasn't the best, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't the best. Didn't get an adaptation for another like 15 years. So, I feel for Berserk fans. I really do. And you could say, you know, we're getting the Conviction arc animated at least. You know, never been animated before. That's exciting, right? I mean, they'll surely do that good. If they're rushing to get it, maybe they'll do it good. Maybe. You know, there's always a chance. Maybe they'll do it good. You know, we'll get to see key scenes from the Conviction arc animated, because it is an amazing arc. But the thing is, the anime looks like complete shit. It's CGI, and I'm not against CGI. I think the movies looked really good. Most people think they look bad. I think they look pretty nice. Lupin III, a woman named Fujiko Mine, I believe, with CGI. Had a really similar art style to Berserk, and that looked really nice. This looks awful. I guess it doesn't have a good enough budget, which isn't really... I mean, I'm amazed that something like Berserk doesn't have a good enough budget, to be honest. It's a pretty big series. The 59th best-selling series overall. I mean, it has been going on for like 25 years, so I guess having so many copies sold over that like amount of time, it means it's not as popular as other shows that might be lower, like not as well selling. And so, like, you know, at the moment it might not be that best selling, but still, you know, it looks like really it just looks awful. People are saying it's got like PS2 era graphics, and it really does. And I could even overlook that. You know, bad adaptation with pacing and stuff, bad graphics. I could look over that if it was at least fluid. But the thing is, this is the worst thing about it for me. It runs like an awful frame rate. It seems to be at like 15 FPS or something. So it's just so jarring and extremely hard to watch. Because, well, obviously it's hard to watch if Guts is swinging his sword. And it's just like the junkiest shit ever. So I mean, even when they like do the fights and stuff, it's probably going to be awful. The music's good. At the very least, the music's good. But apart from that, it's got next to no redeeming features. Another problem is, it's even got censoring. I don't think that the violence has. It might. It very well might. Because for this, it was really, you know, skeletons and stuff are getting, you know, beaten up in the first episode. So very well might have violence censored, which will be awful. There was nudity in the first episode, which is censored. Which is a bit of a problem because, I mean, Berserk's full of nudity. I've seen like 3 orgies so far, so if it's getting censored, there's just going to be, you know, black blobs everywhere in some scenes. Or they'll skip it, which wouldn't surprise me in all honesty. If some of the more violent stuff is censored, because it does get really, really violent, you know, why bother? Why bother adapting this if you're going to censor it? JoJo and censoring, you can kind of get away with it, because it was in Shonen Jump, primarily kids manga for the most part. Blu-ray DVDs will fix it. At the same time, it'll take ages for that to come out. So while I'm you know, kind of annoyed JoJo is censoring, I can kind of overlook it. There's no way in hell Berserk would ever in something like Shonen Jump. That's not a kids manga. It's the most brutal, violent, bloody manga I've ever seen. And if they're gonna, you know, this isn't gonna be like, you know, I don't see why you'd bother adapting it if you're gonna censor it. You wouldn't put Pulp Fiction on CBBC, for example. So why, like, bother censoring it? Berserk, you know, Berserk has an audience of adults. They don't need this censored. They don't need nudity censored. So, you know, that's pretty shitty if that's, you know, that's what's happening in it. So basically, you know, newcomers won't enjoy it. They'll have skipped the entire Golden Age arc, which they need to see. So they'll have to watch the movies, and even that skips stuff. So the only thing you can do is watch the manga, like, read the manga. It's the only way you can really enjoy Berserk to its fullest. Might seem a bit weird coming from somebody who watched the films. If you want a taster for Berserk, then sure, I mean, watch the films. They are pretty good, I think. But you have to you know, read the manga for into it. You couldn't, you know, a newcomer could not watch this anime. fans won't like it because it looks like ass, it's rushing stuff. They'll just be angry because they'll be thinking, you know, Berserk, this is what became of the anime. You know, they'll just be wishing, like, they'll just be thinking about the anime they could have had, you know, the good adaptation. So yeah, it's a sad day to be a Berserk fan, to say the least. And that's all I've got to say about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you didn't, I don't know, go send me death threats or something, hate mail. Yeah, hey, maybe I'll open a PO box just for that. I'll see you later.